We as sellers are starting to see the impact of eBay's new catalog-based shopping experience. This is something eBay has been talking about all year in 2018, and I think finally we're starting to really see what that means for us as sellers, because recently a lot of us got a notification that we have to now align a lot of our listings with the catalog. So that's going to be what we're talking about in the beginning of this live stream. And then, of course, I'll stick around and answer any questions you guys have about that or anything else related to eBay or Amazon dropshipping. So most of the listings that we have, eBay has automatically conformed to their catalog. And they haven't really talked about how they did that, but I've kind of done some testing and just kind of guesswork as to how they were able to do that. And I've kind of identified like 3 to 5 different points that they connect between our listing and a listing that they have in their catalog. So just to kind of give a brief overview of what this catalog is, eBay up until now has been a platform where you can go in and search for something, like let's say you search for an iPod, and then you'll see a whole bunch of different listings for different iPods and many different listings for the same iPod. Now what eBay wants to do is to consolidate that. So let's say you want an iPod from a certain year, a certain size, with a certain color. Then you'll see all those in one listing. You click on that, and you'll see all the different people selling that same one. That's what eBay's trying to do here. In order to do that, they have to create a huge catalog of basically every item that exists for sale out there, similar to the way that Amazon does it. So they are developing this catalog. They've been doing it for a while, but this year they're starting to require us to match up our listings with that catalog. Like I said, some of that has been done automatically. And they look at things like the title of the item, the UPC number, and the manufacturer number, or the MPN. So those things I'm very certain they're using to connect our items with the items in the catalog. But I also think they're looking at the description and even the photos to match them up. Now, sometimes they're unable to match items. So over the weekend, a lot of us got a notification that some of our items aren't listed up with the catalog. And eBay wants us to do their work for them. They want us to go in and match the items for them, do their work for them. I don't know why they don't just create a better system, but they're putting the onus on us there. So let me show you what this is looking like. I'm going to share the screen here. My entire window, share that. And if you look at this screenshot right here, you'll see that this is a screenshot from my Seller Hub. So when you log into your Seller Hub, on the top left, you always see these tasks, right? And the tasks are usually things like answer these customer questions, or you have items to ship out. Recently, some of us have seen some stuff earlier this year about HTTPS, but let's not get into that. So this one right here is the one I'm talking about, the one on top. It says match with eBay catalog product or provide a valid product identifier. Basically, that's exactly what I talked about. They want you to take your listing and match it up with a existing item in the catalog. The problem is that when you go in to do that, there's all sorts of problems. So first of all, let me go back to this first screenshot. You'll see they say have 21 items, right? When I actually go in though, you'll see that even though it says 21 up here, there's only 10 here. And here, there's 11. And all these numbers should be the same, but they're different. So right away, glitch as usual with eBay, things not really lining up. And I couldn't really take a screenshot of the whole page because then you would see, my item numbers and everything. But basically, it gives all 10 of the items, and then it's asking me to go in and find the item that is in the catalog that matches up with it. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. You can do it without recommendation or with recommendation. And if you click the one with recommendation, it's easier to do, because when you do that, I know it's not great because I had to black out a lot, but this is kind of what you'll see. you'll see this will have the title of the item here that you have for the item and your item number. And here will be a picture and title from the catalog. So what this does is this is taking the best guess. This is saying that we think this, we're pretty sure that this one is the right item from the catalog. If it is, just click this blue button and you'll be ready to go. But if you did it the other way, so meaning if instead of clicking here where it says with recommendation, you clicked here where it says without recommendation, you have to go in and manually select an item that gives you, instead of one choice, it might give you 5 or 10 choices. So clicking with recommendation will make it go faster. Now the problem here is that either way, no matter which way you do it, if you pick an item, at least in my experience, nothing happens. You click on it and either one of two things happens. One, it tells you it's invalid or it doesn't work and it doesn't really explain why. Or two, you click on it and it goes back to the first screen and it doesn't really tell you what happened. And in fact, when you go back to it, the item is still there and it's still asking you to conform the listing. So that's kind of confusing. What ends up happening though is most of the time what ends up happening is that if you wait several hours or a day, then the item will be conformed to the catalog and it will go away. It won't ask you to align that item anymore. So yeah, CP in the chat is saying the same thing. It keeps saying it's invalid. I think it's just a glitch in eBay's system. But I came back a few hours and some of the ones that I clicked that nothing happened when I clicked them, they were suddenly aligned and they were no longer asking me to do it. So lots of glitches here. I actually called eBay when I first started doing it. I called them and said, hey, look, this isn't working. So they connected me over to the selling department. And the woman I spoke to had no idea. She tried to explain the catalog-based policy to me, and I had to interrupt her and say, I appreciate it, but I know all about it. I'm just trying to figure out the mechanics of this. How am I actually supposed to do this? Because when I click on it, nothing happens. And she said, oh, that's because there's a review period. I'm like, well, why doesn't it tell me that there's a review period? Why, when I click on it, nothing happens? There should be a pop-up telling me it's under review. And she said, oh, if you go back to it later, it'll say it's under review. But by the time I came back later, it was already gone. So lots of glitches. Again, eBay rolling something out without really fully working out the kinks of it, but we should be used to that by now. So a lot of people are asking, so that's kind of the way that you do it. That's kind of the fastest way that I have found to do it. A lot of people are asking, should we even do this at all? The fear is that once you align your item with the catalog, then the buyer isn't going to buy your item. They're only going to buy the cheapest item, or they're going to find everyone else who's selling it for cheaper. The first thing I'll say to that is that eBay wants you to do it. If eBay is telling you you have to align this item with the catalog, then you have to do it. And if you don't do it, then that item will stop showing up in search results altogether. That's what eBay said they're going to do. Now, eBay is rolling out this system category by category, or products, or different types of products at a time. So even if you change your category and so that you don't have to put it into the catalog to try to hide it, eventually eBay is going to catch up because eventually they're going to want every item from every different category in the catalog. So eventually they're going to want every single item in there. And let's say in summer of next year, they are finished, and all of a sudden you get an email saying, well, because you didn't align these items with the catalog, because maybe you were trying to hide them, you now have like thousands of items, but they're not aligned with the catalog. So you either have to, 1, align them, or 2, create new catalog listings for all of them. And eBay will make you create new catalog listings for all of them. And then that will go through a review process. And during the review process, the review team will likely discover that these items do exist in the catalog and you're just trying to keep them out of it. So eBay does seem to be indicating that they really want these items in the catalog, all of them, and that there's really no way to hide them forever, though you might be able to hide them for a short time. Now, let's see. So what are some implications of this as they're actually rolling out? So one of the implications I've seen is that I've had an increase in the number of my items that have been removed for Vero violations, or because my guess is that as they align to the catalog, they're easier to identify. Hasn't resulted in any issues with my account, knock on wood, but it's just something I've noticed. Another thing I read online is that when things have moved, when people have taken items and moved them into the catalog, suddenly eBay changed the category, and this increased the fees for some people accidentally. So nothing that I really sell, or that I think many of you guys sell, but for instance, the example used was somebody was selling metal detectors, and the metal detectors were originally in the category electronics. But when it went into the catalog, for some reason it moved to one of the industrial categories, which has a higher fee. So they didn't think that really made sense or that was fair. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but in general, all the items I sell, I can't imagine them going into a category that would increase the fees. And I think just in general, whenever eBay makes a change like this, they always somehow mess up their system, don't really have their stuff together. And so for instance, just this weekend or just, when was it, yesterday, a lot of people got emails telling them that they all of a sudden owe money to eBay for their last invoice, even if they already paid the invoice. And if you call eBay, you actually get an automated message telling you that that was a mistake, that was an error. And I think what happened is that whenever eBay goes in to make changes to their system, they never do it in a very, I don't know what they do, but there always seem to be more glitches on eBay's website when they make changes like this. So that's really the issue there. The biggest question, though, is with this new catalog system, will dropshipping still work? And yes, I think it will absolutely still work. And my proof for that is Amazon, because Amazon has a catalog-based shopping experience. People still dropship on Amazon and doing really well. You don't have to have the lowest price on Amazon to sell the product. You don't even need the buy box to be selling the product. So that is the evidence right there. Not all categories are grouped as of now, and even moving forward, customers don't have to group the items into the catalog if they don't want to. They can view it the traditional way if that's what they want to do. And as of right now, our listings, according to eBay, although I haven't seen this 100% of the time, according to eBay, your listing will still have your own title and pictures and photos and description, but it's just aligned with the catalog. That's what they're saying at least. And in Amazon, you don't need the lowest price to be in the buy box. And I don't know how eBay is going to do it, but if eBay was smart, they would give different opportunities to different sellers to keep as many sellers happy, just like Amazon does. And the other thing I'll say is that there is always a way. Whenever there's a change on eBay, people always think this is the end of reselling, this is the end of thrifting, this is the end of drop shipping on eBay. People always think that, but people always find a way to make it work. It might as well be you who makes it work. And I always say I'd rather be in the game as the changes are occurring so that I can be the first one to discover how it works on the new system and be ahead of the game of anyone else who comes in later. So I do absolutely think it works, and it will continue to work if you are dedicated to doing it, and if you realize that there is always a way to make it work. So as always, I am here to answer any questions you guys have about that topic or anything else related to eBay or Amazon dropshipping. And I might make a video in the future, maybe talking more about kind of creating more stealth listings. But like I said, I'm not completely convinced those will work, because I do think eventually eBay is going to make all items conform to the catalog anyway. But if I do make that video, it will be up on my channel. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. All right, let's see who's here and what kind of questions you guys have. Just want to make sure I covered everything. Yep, that was it. All right, so let's scroll up here. And, okay. All right. Okay, so I had a question from Danny before in the live chat. Danny says, when somebody returns an item, do you lose all your cash back for that order or just for the one item? So let me clarify a little bit what Danny's talking about. So let's say you buy an item from homedepot.com and you get cash back. Let's say, for instance, you get, just for the sake of making this easy math, let's say it's 10% cash back. It's never going to happen. And let's say it's based on 2 items you bought. One item was $50, the other item was $50. So you got $5 in cash back per item. What happens if one of the items is returned? Do you lose $10 or do you only lose $5? So Danny, you would only lose $5. It's I guess based on just the item that was returned. I also had a question from Jeremiah. Jeremiah just says, getting off of work and headed home to handle some customer service while I listen. That's a great hustle. You know, really, if you want to make this business work, you gotta work hard. I know a lot of you guys are working 9-to-5 jobs and still doing that while doing eBay dropshipping on the side. You gotta put every moment you have into this business to make it work. I remember my first year, I spent every second of my life that I wasn't at work working on my eBay dropshipping business, just toiling away. Even when I wasn't making any money, I would still work full faith, believing that it would work, because that's the only way you're going to create your very first stream of income online. You really got to work hard. And I see that Jeremiah is doing that, so great job, Jeremiah. But let's see any other questions we got in the live chat. Okay. 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 And a lot of people saying they saw a decrease in sales. Hold on a second. A lot of people say they saw a decrease in sales recently when the catalog happened. And usually what happens is eBay, whenever they make some sort of change, it messes up the algorithm. Things go up and down, and then things kind of settle off. So I wouldn't jump to any conclusions about it until some time passes and things can kind of even out. Okay. Okay, let's see. So Ole is saying, how can I list faster? Do you recommend bulk listing using things like Zeek and Profit Scraper, hire a VA, or suck it up and I list one by one, LOL? So great question. So there's multiple factors here, because you're talking about not only the process of listing, but also product research, right? So if you are doing product research, then it does take longer, but I think it is worth it to do product research. I think it really makes a difference. So the best way to speed that up is with a software like you mentioned, Zeek. Zeek would work really well. So use Zeek, it will help speed up the product research time. As for listing, of course, you should be using an automatic listing software like DSM Tool. And I don't really recommend bulk, because I do think you should be optimizing your listings and not just bulk uploading them. So the best way to do that is to use a software like DSM Tool and to hire a VA, so you can double the amount of listings you can do in a day by hiring a VA, or even more than double it. Okay, let's see. So along the same line, Mommy's Media says, how do I grab all the URLs from a source fast to list them? So if that is what you want to do, bulk listing, then what I would recommend, if that is what you want to do, is to use a Chrome plugin that, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I used to use it. It is, I forget the name, but if you search for a Chrome plugin that will copy all the URLs, yeah, it copies all the URLs in your open tabs, and that will allow you to quickly get a bunch of URLs. So you open up every tab with different URLs, and then you use that Chrome extension, and it will copy all of them. Let's see. Okay, so let's see some more questions from the week. Dusty was asking me about whether I recommend Upwork or Online Jobs, or if there's any other one. And Dusty, there are a ton of different websites to hire virtual assistants from. I thought there was only a few, but the more I've been in this business, I see so many of them out there. And the two I've used are Upwork and Online Jobs. And they're really good for different reasons. So in general, I think Upwork is more than fine for eBay dropshipping. You're going to find tons of people in there who have done product research, who have done listing, who have done customer service, who can take care of cases and returns. Every task you have for eBay dropshipping, there's someone on Online Jobs that can do that for you. And if you do want to check that out, I do have an affiliate link. It's at pauljlipsky.com/jobs. And the beauty of Online Jobs is, even though they have a monthly subscription cost, you only need 1 month, because it's only going to take you less than a month to hire a virtual assistant. Then you can cancel your subscription, and because it's cheaper to use Online Jobs than pretty much any other online VA service that I found, because once you hire the VA, you don't owe Online Jobs any more money. You pay the VA directly. So you're going to end up saving a lot of money by going through Online Jobs. Whereas if you go through Upwork, Upwork takes a percentage. I forget what it is now, but they take a percentage, which means you have to pay your VAs more. So you can do a break even, like what point you break even, but it's pretty much at less than a month when it becomes more cost efficient to hire from Online Jobs than Upwork. With that said, there are some tasks that I use Online Jobs for that I wouldn't use that I wouldn't hire from Upwork for. But these are more like technical tasks that are unrelated to dropshipping. So for instance, the guy who edits my videos, he does a really good job. I hired him from Upwork, and I didn't hire him from Online Jobs, even though he's from the Philippines. The great thing about Upwork, as opposed to Online Jobs, is that it's easier to see their work history and their skills better. It's easier to see that on Upwork than it is with Online Jobs. Now, like I said before, for most tasks, you don't really need that clear of information. You can easily find it out by talking with them and getting a good indication of whether they actually have done these jobs in the past or not. But with Upwork, for these more technical jobs, I think it's a little bit more important to know for sure. And that's why I use those for things like hiring Jeff, who edits my videos. Okay. All right, we have Luxury Card Store dropping a $5 super chat, so thank you so much. 2 questions from Luxury Card Store. Here is number 1. Do you upload Amazon logistics tracking numbers when using Amazon as a supplier? So yes, well, what I use is TrackerBot, and TrackerBot kind of lets you, what's it called? It has something built in that will allow it to, you can take a screenshot of it and send it to the customer so that they can see that the item was actually delivered. And eBay, if you find the right representative, will accept that as proof of delivery. Now, this is something I was talking with Mark about the other day, because with Mark, he asked a really good question. Because there's an issue coming up in eBay where if a customer is going to be opening up an item not received case in the future, then if you did not upload a tracking number before they open up that case, then even if you upload a tracking number after, if the customer insists they never received it, the customer wins the case. So the important thing to do moving forward is to make sure there's a tracking number uploaded for every single order. TrackerBot does a lot of that automatically. It doesn't get all of them. So you should make sure you have a VA or yourself go in and make sure that they're all uploaded on time. Now, I made a video about this in the past why I don't think this is going to be a huge problem because one, TrackerBot gets most of them. Two, you can have a VA get the rest of them. And in the rare case when there is an issue, the amount of people who, I know everyone says, oh, the buyers on eBay are always trying to scam you, always trying to scam you. But in my experience, they don't. I mean, I looked, as soon as they implemented that policy, I looked back and I have had a lot of orders that I never uploaded tracking numbers for. And those customers never said anything. They never raised the stink about it. They could have lied and said they never received it, but they didn't because most people are honest. So I think that it won't really be an issue going forward. And the tracking number software I recommend is TrackerBot because I've tried a few of them and that one is my favorite. So that's one that I would use. Okay, so Solanor83 says, how long do you test new strategies? So that really depends. When I was first starting out, I needed to test things for a while because my sales were slower. But now that I get consistently good sales every day, I can test something and within a week really know if it's working or not. So it really depends on where you're at. But for me, it's about a week. I try to give it a little longer, but within a week, I usually have a good idea if it's working or not. Yeah, Mommy's Media says Upwork is about $3 to $5 an hour for a VA, but online jobs, you can get one for $2 an hour. So you see how quickly that ends up being more cost efficient. So Frank is saying, do you feel like eBay sales will pick up over time the longer you have your store open? I currently have a basic store and feel I should upgrade to the next level to add more items. So I do feel like, I'm not going to use the word feel. Based on my experience, the store of mine that does the best is the one that's been open the longest. And I know some people say that brand new stores do better, but hasn't been my experience. I think we all have to put in our time. I had to put in my time with my store when I first started it. But once it gained some experience, some sales, then things took off and things have been really consistent with it ever since. So he's also asking if a basic store, hold on a second, if upgrading to a store is a better idea. The only reason you would want to upgrade a store, it sounds like at this point, is to get more free listings. It won't increase your listing limit, but you'll get more free listings. Now, once you get past the starter store, then your final value fee is at 9.15% instead of 10%. But every time you upgrade, it's not going to go any lower. So you shouldn't upgrade to lower your fees unless you're upgrading to the first one after the starter, which, if I'm remembering correctly, is the basic store. But the benefit of upgrading past that is to get more free listings. But if you have a low listing limit anyway, it doesn't matter. So just keep that in mind. Some people have this misconception that upgrading to a higher store subscription will increase your sell-through rate or increase your views, and there's just no evidence to support that. All right, Maddie G is here, and Maddie says he's a brand new dropshipper, Paul. Can't wait to buy your course. Just started making consistent daily sales this week. Congratulations, Maddie. So he's confused. Zeke, Profit Scraper, Chili, what is all this stuff? Okay. So Maddie, we're talking about dropshipping software, and maybe I should just make a video one of these days just covering all the different software. I'll write that down. all software, because I understand it can be confusing, or maybe like a terminology video. Just go over all the different dropshipping terminology, because I do know it can be confusing. So we use software to list our items, software like DSM Tool. It makes the listing process go very quickly. And something like Zeek Analytics or Chili Hunter you mentioned, these help you find profitable items. They help you find items that are already selling well on eBay. And that's just what those ones do. So maybe I'll make a more in-depth video talking about all the different software. But if you are interested in a lot of them, I do have them in the description of my video. Yeah, Mommy says that's a good recommendation as well. So Mommies, if you want to check out DSM Tool, which is the one I recommend, it's in the description of my video underneath my favorite repricer and lister, or you just go to pauljlipsky.com//DSM. So you can check out that one. And the product researcher tool I use, you can go to pauljlipsky.com/Zeek, Z-I-K. Yeah, I thought maybe my video was light too. I don't know what happened. So thank you for saying that. I thought it was my computer. Let me turn off the lights. Something weird going on with my camera. Maybe that helped. Yeah, that looks better. So thank you, Music Mania, for pointing that out. I thought it was my computer. All right. It's still looking dark. So weird lighting. We'll just have to deal. So Danny is asking how often I try to get negative feedback removed by eBay. I always try to get it removed. I'm just trying to fiddle with my camera settings or whatever. I always try to get it removed. I've been a little bit. Oh no, broke it. Okay. Uh-oh. Right, I don't still hear me. Oh, okay. So hopefully there's no interruption there. I'm really sorry about that. This is why I shouldn't touch the equipment once it's working. All right. So where was I there? Yeah, I always try to get the feedback removed. It really depends on how busy I am. This is one of the things that I had outsourced at one point, and then that VA, I had to have her do something else. So she stopped doing that. So then I started doing it again, but I got so busy with other stuff. So I do have some bunch of feedback, some neutral, some negative that I gotta actually go in and remove myself, or hire a VA to do that. But I got too busy. So thanks for that reminder. Something else I got to do for myself. Hopefully you guys can still see me now. It's our drop shipping computers, cameras. Yeah, I got to fix that. Okay. Actually, I didn't realize I typed shoot into the comment. So sorry. Okay. And Bobby's here. Bobby says, I bought the course last Friday and there's tons of good information. So thanks, Bobby. So let's see another question I had from the week. Oh, so I'm glad Music Mania is here, because Music Mania sent me an interesting podcast I listened to from, it's actually eBay's podcast. And eBay was saying that it actually is going to be a slight delay when you're using Adyen, the new payment processor, instead of PayPal. When you use that one, there's actually going to be a slight delay between getting the money and when it's actually going to be released to your bank account. And the reason for that, listening to the podcast, is really just because, just same thing with PayPal. When you transfer money from PayPal to your bank account, it's not instantaneous. It does take a couple of days for that to transfer. So that's really what the issue is, why there is a delay there. It's not the same kind of delay that they were talking about, like any other added delay. But yeah, that's a great podcast, Music Mania turned me on to, and I subscribe to it. I'll be listening to it, kind of give some insights as to what's going on with eBay. Hear actually people talking about it who work there. Okay. So let's see what other questions we have here. Okay. I can't say your name. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. But you said, I just started my eBay dropshipping store, and when I listed my item, my account got suspended. Oh, and they refused to clear it. What should I do? So usually what happens is when you start a new store, not usually, sometimes when you start a new store, eBay will flag it and suspend it right away. And the reason for that is they just want you to call in, so they hear you're a real person, and then they'll usually lift the suspension. So I don't know if you called them or if you emailed them, but if you call, that's the way they want you to do it. Call in, and they should remove that suspension. Sometimes they ask for a little more. Sometimes they might ask for some sort of ID to verify it's you, but usually not. Usually a phone call is enough. And this happens more often when you're opening a second account, or if you open too many accounts close together. But usually if you call in, there's no problem with it. So Mike is saying that he drop shipped an item from Home Depot. The customer apparently went to Home Depot, returned the item, and then opened a return case. How do you handle something like this? So Mike, that's tough. Usually I will refund the buyer at that point, but it really depends on the situation. And let me tell you why. Because most of the time I will refund them, but I've had two situations. One where the buyer returned it after 2 months and my return window is only 30 days. In that case, I still refunded them because they still returned the item. I got my money back. It just didn't really seem fair for me to keep it, even though it was outside the 30 days. And it wasn't like they were trying to be mean. They just really thought it was okay for them to do it that way. The other case was one where the person asked to return the item after 30 days. I said, it's too late. And they said, well, we're going to return it to Home Depot. And I said, you can't do that because you didn't buy from Home Depot, you bought it from me. The person returned it to Home Depot anyway, and then they emailed or messaged me a return receipt, but for whatever reason, whoever returned it returned the wrong item. The customer got item A, and I'm sure they returned item A to Home Depot, but Home Depot processed it as item B, which was much, much cheaper. So I only got back, I think it was like $15, and the person's item was $50. So in that case, I didn't refund them. I refunded them actually the $15, but I wouldn't refund them anything more. And eBay sided with me because it was outside the 30-day return policy, and there was no proof they shipped it back to me. And they couldn't provide that proof because they never shipped it back to me. So that was the only kind of weird situation I had with that one. Okay. Okay. Winston Martinez dropped a super chat. So thank you, Winston. Winston has a question about cashback. What other alternatives are there for cashback sites? All my sites got suspended and canceled. eBay's, Top Cashback, Be Frugal. Anyone else had that issue? Great question, Winston. I have heard of people first, cashback websites. What are they? You can go to websites like Winston mentioned, eBay's, Top Cashback. The one I really like is Giving Assistant or Simply Best Coupon. You go to those websites, and on that website, you search for the site you want to shop on. Let's say it's Walmart. So you search on eBay's for Walmart. So then on eBay's, you see it brings you to a page all about Walmart. It gives you a whole bunch of coupons you could possibly use. The never really work. Well, some of them work sometimes, but a lot of them don't work. But the more important thing here is there's a big button that says shop on Walmart or something like that. You click on that button, assuming you're logged into eBay's. You click on that button, then it just takes you to Walmart. And it looks like Walmart because it is Walmart. It doesn't look any different. You shop on Walmart, and because you clicked that button and then went to Walmart, you get cash back. And maybe it's 2% or 3% or 4%, but that adds up over time. Now, Winston's saying his cashback sites got suspended or canceled. And I have heard of that happening, but it's never happened to me. And I don't know why it happens to some people and not other people. So there are plenty of cashback websites. If you go to a website called cashbackmonitor.com, Cashback Monitor takes many of the cashback websites and shows you which one has the highest percentage for each online retailer. So you'll type in Walmart and it will show you, okay, eBay's is giving you 3% back. Top Cashback is giving you 4% back. Giving Assistance giving you 5% back, for instance. So you can pick the one with the highest percentage, or you can also see a bunch of other websites that are giving you cash back. So you might want to try those ones as well. If they suspended you, I'm not sure why they did that. You might want to try opening a new account under another name. If you have a friend or relative, you can open it under their name maybe instead. But yeah, if you go to Cashback Monitor, it shows you a whole bunch. It doesn't show you all of them, but it shows you a lot. And the ones that I use the most are Simply Best Coupon and Giving Assistant, but I've also used UPromise, and I really like that one as well. I used Be Frugal in the past. Be Frugal was great. And I'm starting to use eBay's again. eBay's is great too. So they're really all good. I really like Giving Assistant because I have really good customer service, but there were some technical issues with them recently, so I kind of lost a little faith in them, which is why I started to use Simply Best Coupon, which works really well. And UPromise, the one I mentioned, they advertise themselves as a way to save for college, but you don't need to use it for that reason. You can get 100% of the money and just keep it for yourself. They don't ask you if you're in college or going to school. They just kind of use that as like a publicity kind of thing. Okay. Anthony Blackburn left me $1. So thank you, Anthony. Didn't even ask a question. So I appreciate that $1 super chat. Danny is asking if I'm doing Amazon dropshipping and what my profit is compared to eBay. So yeah, I'm still doing Amazon dropshipping. This is where I'm dropshipping onto Amazon, slowly moving along with this one. Haven't had as much time to concentrate on it as I would have liked. So this is one of the cool things about, I guess you could say, being an entrepreneur is that, last year, I spent all last year, 2017, just all in on eBay dropshipping and learning it. And I'm so glad I did that and didn't let myself get distracted or look at multiple things. I concentrated on one thing, eBay dropshipping, for pretty much 11 months is all I did. Then in November, once I finally affirmed to myself that, yeah, I know what I'm doing, yeah, I got this to work, then I started to get onto YouTube and talk about it and teach other people how to do it on YouTube. Did like a little bit of affiliate marketing there. By affiliate marketing, I just mean I was advertising the software that I was using anyway by putting links to it underneath my videos. So I was making a little bit of money from that. But yeah, so I got to kind of diversify what I was doing. I was doing eBay dropshipping, and then I was doing YouTube. And then January, because so many people were asking for it, I released my course. So that was a whole new thing for me as well. Got to try something else new, creating courses, teaching people. And then from there, I went back and did some more eBay, and then I started to do Amazon, and then I made another course, and then went back to eBay, and then I kind of improved my course recently, and now I'm back to doing eBay again. Kind of, when I say back to doing eBay, I never stopped, but there's times when I put more energy into it or more thought into it than others. And that's what's kind of great about being an entrepreneur is you can do one thing until you get like a little burned out from it and work on another thing and then work on another thing. But the one thing that I will say is that I don't want people to feel, and it's so easy to do this, overwhelmed by choices. There's so many different ways to make money online, and it can be overwhelming. And you get this shiny object syndrome, where you see something, ooh, like eBay dropshipping. Oh wait, but Amazon dropshipping. Oh wait, but YouTube, you can make money on YouTube. Like, oh wait, you can make money by making a niche site. All these different things. And the problem is, if you chase all of them, you never commit to one long enough. And what I'll say is your very first pursuit, the very first way that you're going to break out of the traditional way to make money, which is someone else pays you and you make money for yourself, the only way you can be successful with that the first time is to concentrate on one thing, put everything into it, and work just around the clock really hard. Well, maybe not around the clock, but work really hard for a really long time until you make it work. And that's what I did last year. Like I said, it was pretty much 11 months where I was obsessed with eBay dropshipping until I made it work, concentrated on that and only that. And that was a huge reason why I was so successful. And if you're doing eBay dropshipping for a month and you're not making money or as much money as you want, and you're going to jump ship for something like Amazon dropshipping or anything else, then chances are you're going to start Amazon dropshipping, and then you're going to jump ship for something else, and you're just never going to make money online. And that's true for anything. If you're already committed to, Amazon FBA, but a month into it, you're like, oh, well, let me try something else instead because I'm not really feeling this right now. Then it's never going to work. You got to be all in with one thing. Now that can be whatever you want it to be, but I encourage you to go all in with one thing. The nice thing about eBay dropshipping is it's kind of a low-hanging fruit. It's simple business model. It's easier for people to get into this business model than almost any other one out there. And there's lots of guidance on how to do well with it. So it really is like a low-hanging fruit. So if this is your first venture into online commerce, then it's a really more easy one to get started with than any other one, which is what I'll say. So I don't know how I got off on that rant kind of there, but hope that was insightful for someone. But yeah, basically I am doing Amazon dropshipping, and I will be going more heavily into that in the next 2 months. I just did an update to the course. I want to tweak some things with eBay dropshipping to kind of optimize my systems. And at the same time, I'll be going into Amazon more. And Cheryl saying, just started last month and want to grow my business. Should I open a second store or work on growing my first store? Work on growing your first store. I think it's too soon for a second store. And if you put more time into that first store, I think it will do better. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Neela, I love this, what you just said. She said, Neela says, energy goes where focus goes. I love that. And Mike is asking about the updates to the course. Mike says he bought the course before the updates. If I go through the course again, will I see the updates? Yes. So it's the same exact course in terms of it's the same exact page. You don't have to go into a new website is what I mean, but all the updates I made are now implemented in there. You go to the Facebook group, which is a private mastermind for all the students in the course. I posted all the changes I made in there. Okay. All right. Phil's saying something wrong with my internet speed. I don't know what's wrong with my technical issues tonight. But as long as you guys can hear me. Okay. Oh yeah, guys, I don't think I thanked you because I hit 15,000 subscribers. So thank you for everyone who has subscribed to the channel. We're now at over 15,000, which is pretty awesome. But we have Susan ask a question. Actually, I already answered that one. And Regine asked a question. Do you offer free shipping on all your items? Yes, I do. It's kind of expected that buyers want free shipping. They like it. Even if it's the same cost. Let's say the item costs $20 and it's $6 shipping. if you list it for 26, people are more likely to buy it, according to studies that I can't quote. But just the general consensus is that people like free shipping, even if it's the same price. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Let me try fixing the video. Apparently it's blurry. So hopefully that helps the video. You guys can let me know. Okay. Okay, so David said it got unclear. So sorry about all these technical issues. I don't know what happened this week, but I'll make sure it doesn't happen next time. Okay, Bruce was asking me this week if you're allowed to have multiple accounts on eBay. And yeah, you can have up to 8 accounts linked to one PayPal. That's not an issue. Do you want 8 accounts though? Probably not. Like I said before, you should be all in on one, making one work before you branch out into a second or third account. Okay, I got my assistant, Chad, telling me it's clear, this video. I think that's okay. So another thing I wanted to talk about was I made a post inside my private Facebook group and on YouTube asking people if they wanted to do a meetup this Saturday. And the masses spoke. Everyone's saying like, I really want to come to a meetup, but it's just way too short notice. And I totally get that. It wasn't a smart idea for me to try to plan one that quickly. So now I got people interested, or know people are interested. So I will be planning one probably later in September. Give you guys plenty of notice. So anyone who's like in the Northeast, will probably be in New York City. So anyone in the Northeast who wants to come to that will be able to have like a few weeks or hopefully even a month to attend it. Okay. So lost where I was. Okay, so I got a few more minutes. So if anyone has any last minute questions, I can answer them for you. Okay. What percent change to? No, Monica. If I do the meetup, anyone can attend it. I'm going to announce it on Facebook. I'm going to announce it on YouTube. I'll announce it on Instagram. Anywhere. Rich is saying we should do the meetup in the Keys. I would love that. I actually used to work in Islamorada, Rich. I'm not sure. I worked teaching scuba diving there at a Boy Scout camp in Islamorada. That was like the best summer of my life. It was so much fun. I just spent like all summer on a boat going scuba diving. Did about 10 dives a week, every week. It was just incredible, and obviously beautiful. Oh, okay. Luxury Card Store asks another question in the super chat. So thank you for the super chat, saying, do you believe that eBay shows dropship listings to people who have shown they aren't likely to filter to see lowest price based on their buying history? Wait, I'm not sure I understand the question. Let me read it again. Do you believe that eBay shows dropship listings to people who have shown they aren't likely to filter? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Are you talking about when buyers can change how they see the listings? In other words, they can ungroup them? And Ruben's asking if I have a video on becoming tax exempt. And I don't have one on YouTube. The only videos I have on it are inside the course because it is a pretty in-depth topic. And it's not really something you can do on YouTube. It has to be like sequential, a bunch of different videos on how to do that. So Anthony is asking me about drop shipping on Canada, from Canada to Canada. Unfortunately, I don't have really any experience with that because I only drop ship on ebay.com here in the USA. So I really have no experience. I wouldn't feel comfortable giving you advice on that because I really don't know. Okay. I like that one. Jeremiah has a saying called focus, FOCUS, stands for focus on one course until success or until successful. I really like that one too. And Laptop Lifestyle saying, do you drop ship internationally? I do use eBay's global shipping program. Yeah. Okay, so we just about are at the hour mark, so I will be wrapping up right now. Kind of give you guys an idea of what's coming up on the channel. Later this week, I'll be talking about Banggood and whether or not you should be using Banggood as a supplier to dropship from. Next week, I'm going to start talking more about Amazon dropshipping probably. So if you don't want to miss those videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you got value out of this video, if I answered your question or a question you had or a question you didn't even know you had, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. I do these every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, not only answering your questions, I always try to have some sort of theme and teach you guys something. So if you don't want to miss that, I do those every Tuesday night. So in addition to subscribing, underneath the video, there's a little bell notification you can hit to get an alert whenever I go live. So that's about it for the questions, probably. But I want to see, I know there was a question, okay, Laptop Lifestyle was asking me about my camera, what camera I use. Yeah, I use for those of you who care, a Lumix G7X, I think it is. It's a 4K camera. It's really good. It's pretty funny I'm saying it's good when it was acting up today. For the most part, it's good. Has some focus issues, as you guys saw. But usually if you know how it works and you're on top of it, the focus is good. And then I have this little thing called a cam link that connects the camera to my computer. And actually one of you guys recommended the cam link to me. So I forget who that was, but thank you for that recommendation because it really works really well. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for the video on Thursday. It's gonna be a little fun because I ordered something fun from Banggood, and that's part of what I talk about in the video. So if you guys don't want to miss that, that's gonna be coming out Thursday. Let's see, what are you guys up to? Ruben's saying, which course has a tax exemption? That's Dropshipping Titans. If you go to dropshippingtitans.com, that's gonna tell you, that's going to be the course with all the stuff about tax exemption. Okay, so it's 9 o'clock. We will wrap it up now, but thanks everyone so much for coming out and listening, and I'll see you next week during the next live Q&A. Have a great week.